good morning and welcome to the AM News with me, Mapito Sibidi. Now, in our first story, police in the Upper East region have confirmed that 9 of the miners trapped in a pit at the Barney mining site have died. The miners were trapped after the pit they were working in 3 nights ago was engulfed by water following a heavy downpour. A rescue team spent nearly 48 hours pumping water out of the underground mining tunnels trying to find the miners. Correspondent Albert joins us with more. Now, Albert, good morning. Albert, sorry, if you can hear me, what else has the police been saying?
Good morning. Hello?
Yeah, Albert, what else has the police been saying?
Yes, so at about 3 a.m. this morning, the Upper East Regional Police PRO, ASP David Kiankun Ochwe, confirmed to us that the rescue team that was underground trying to locate the miners have found 9 bodies. Now, the search is still ongoing after they spent all these hours pumping the water out of the underground tunnels. So they are trying to see if, apart from these 9 bodies they have found, there will still be more bodies hiding in there because there are several tunnels underground. So that is what they are currently doing. He will give us more information later as to what the police intends to do with the bodies, whether they will release these bodies to the families for burial or they are going to keep them for some time because the Upper East Regional Minister, Stephen Yakubu, visited the area yesterday, and after interacting with the miners on how this accident could have happened, he said that a committee is going to be set up to investigate how the accident could have happened. So we'll get more information on what is going to happen next later in the day.
All right, Albert, we know that 9 confirmed dead, but do we have an idea how many people are still trapped?
For now, we cannot tell because yesterday, while we were at the mining area and talking to some of the miners, the information on how many people could have gone in there varied from different accounts. Some people said that they suspected there could be between 6 and 8 miners in there. And then later, some other people said that apart from the miners who went underground to mine, there were others who tried to go in there and warn them when they realized there was danger coming. And some of these people who went in later did not make their way back out of the mining pit. So we cannot tell how many people could still be in there because even the figure of 9. Yesterday, when they were telling us how many people were there, the number was not up to 9. So chances are there could be more, but we will have to find out as the day goes by.
All right. Thank you so much, Albert. Sorry, we'll be coming to you in our subsequent bulletins for updates on that. But away from that, government says it is currently prosecuting 5 different cases involving persons found to be engaged in illegal mining. According to Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah, the 5 cases include 1 involving some persons who claimed to be national security operators who were arrested in the Kade forest engaged in illegal mining, and another involving some Chinese illegal miners and their Ghanaian accomplices. Mr. Nkrumah says the cases are at different levels in court with some of the arrested persons on remand.
The first is the Republic versus George Asante and 31 others. These are the persons who initially, the reports that came out were that some national security people have been arrested doing mining elsewhere. It turns out they are not national security persons. The accused persons on the 11th of May 2021 were arraigned before the Koforidua Circuit Court B on provisional charges, namely 2 counts of conspiracy to commit crime, that's reconnaissance for minerals, and reconnaissance for minerals without lawful authority. The accused persons were arrested by the town folk themselves, as you remember. They had dug deep, hundreds of meters into the ground, and they were actually conducting some mining activities there without lawful authority. They were remanded into police custody for further investigations. The case has been adjourned to the 8th of June 2021, with the accused person still in custody. In the meantime, the CID has taken over the investigations. They visited the crime scene at Akinting. Sand and some substances suspected to be gold were found and seized. The substances have been sent to the PMMC for testing, and the other state investigative authorities are assisting them while the prosecution ongoes. So that is the case of George Asante and 31 others, the Republic versus George Asante and 31 others. There's the Republic versus Young Mauji. Arrest was made on the 15th of May by the Operation Halt team. Investigations are also ongoing to locate some suspected accomplices, Young Kesi and one Nana Fianco, and prosecutions will be in accordance. There's a Republic versus Wei Ganming and another. This case involves a Chinese national arrested from Atioku in the Memphis West near Takwa. The two Chinese nationals were arraigned before an Accra Circuit Court for the offense of mining without authority or without license. They've been remanded to appear on the 2nd of June 2021. I think that's today. So they'll be appearing in court today after initially being remanded. The matter has been assigned to the CID. Bail has initially been denied the accused persons, and further investigations continue, and prosecution will also continue in accordance. There's also the Republic versus Yang Hua and two others. In this case, two Chinese nationals and a Ghanaian who were illegally mining were arrested from Inchi in the Western region. They were arraigned before the Circuit Court in Accra on the 12th of May 2021 for the offense of mining without license.
Now, two Rastafarian students whose admission to Achimota School has been in contention for weeks now have been told they could report to the school today and expect to be enrolled. It follows the intervention of the Attorney General Godfrey Dame, who says he has advised the school to take the students in. In an exclusive interview with Evans Mensah, Attorney General Godfrey Dame said he has advised Achimota School to withdraw the stay of execution even as it fights to overturn the ruling.
That ought to be respected or accredited schools. There's also the right to exercise the person's culture. You cannot take away from the person the right to live his life in the language that he desires. The long-standing rules and regulations recognized and enforced by schools in the country may have to be reformed. May to be open the floodgates to the acceptance of various lifestyles by schools, to the extent that the decision is paid or is hinged on human rights. It implies that adherence to a certain lifestyle or custom or culture.
Now, the Ghana Chamber of Technology has opened talks with the German Development Corporation, properly known as JIS, to hasten Ghana's digital transformation agenda. Negotiations were finalized after both parties signed a memorandum of understanding to create and support digital systems for development. Isaac Kofi Ajay reports on what exactly Ghana stands to benefit from this partnership.
The establishment of Google's first Africa Artificial Intelligence Lab here in Ghana in 2019, followed by Twitter's quest to make Ghana its regional headquarters this year, seem to have set Ghana notches higher ahead of its peers when it comes to attracting foreign tech giants. Ghana's aim of advancing this agenda, especially in the COVID-19 period, is expected to receive massive support from the German Development Corporation, now that the Digital Transformation Center of GIZ has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Ghana Chamber of Technology. So what exactly is in this partnership for Ghana's digital innovation drive? Dr. Augustina Odame heads the Ghana Chamber of Technology.
We are going to work together on established common areas of interest that will push building a robust digital ecosystem for Ghanaian companies to develop. And then with the inclusivity focus that is within the MOU, it means that whilst we are building the ecosystem, we are not just looking at profit and how it will benefit the pockets of the private sector, but also how we can leverage technology to be able to reach all Ghanaians. Both the Chamber and GIZ believes in leveraging technology and digital transformation to be able to provide services to everyone, regardless of their geographic or demographic station. So this looks at things like inclusivity across gender lines, across income levels, across geographical distribution, and across different levels of ability. So looking at how we can better design products that respond to the needs of the human beings that we say we are aiming to serve with the technology solutions that the members of the chamber come up with.
GTC's partnership with GIZ should create opportunities for digitized systems to support health, education, revenue generation, promotion of human rights, and ultimately create jobs for unemployed youth. Johanna Hattung is head of Component Digital Transformation Center for the GIZ.
The key goal is to improve the preconditions for using digital transformation for more employment and entrepreneurship, specifically in rural areas. We work towards equipping people with the digital skills they need to thrive in the 21st century, and specifically making sure everyone is on board. That means we work specifically on the digital inclusion of women and girls, people in rural areas, and people with disabilities. We support digital innovation in rural areas. We support specifically capacity building on emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, where we have the global initiative Fair Forward Artificial Intelligence of all integrated into the Digital Transformation Center. And we have a specific focus on tech startups and the digital innovation that comes out of new and scalable business models.
A key part of Ghana's economy built on digitization is mobile money transactions, which has seen over 80% increment in between 2019 and 2020 alone. For the GIZ and the GTC, the possibilities for these partnerships are endless. Isaac Kofieje's report for JoyNews.
And in the Ashanti region, after a heated debate, the Asantua girls and Apoko School have booked their space in the next stage of the Love FM High School debate. YAGHS put up a spirited fight against the vociferous debaters of T.I. Amas, former Nawas OAS, whose supporters filled the auditorium with loud cheers, trampled Supercas after a highly competitive debate. Love FM's Erastus Asari Donko has more.
Passion, support, solidarity came to play in the third and fourth debating encounter in the round of 16. Before the debating session, Opokuwari, Yasantua girls went into Jama antics to lift the spirits of their debaters. Yasantua won the first contest in the 234-222 against former T.I. Amas. The motion was people should pass a political literacy test to be able to vote.
The chair, limiting voting rights to people with political capabilities will pave way for people with superior political judgment to elect our national leaders. I doubt any one of you here would ever want an incompetent teacher or doctor to make an important decision that affects his or her life. Then, how on earth should our friends from Fomena Amas mount this stage to argue in favor of incompetent voters to be trusted with voting rights?
First, the chair, people passing political literacy tests before allowed to vote is undemocratic. A person, whether politically literate or not, should be allowed to take part in running of the state, especially through voting. In addition, panel of judges, I speak against the motion and I quote, people should have to pass a political literacy test to be able to vote, unquote, because voting is a civic responsibility and citizens should not be disenfranchised based on education, gender, religion, tribe, etc.
The other contest saw the Owarians put up a spirited charge after singing their anthem against supercars. The motion was traditional leadership is more effective for national development than modern leadership.
If there is any society that has developed without peace, that's my opponents here, educators. But I can assure you of the traditional leaders' role in ensuring and sustaining peace that has led to the development of our dear nation. The killing of Yana in May 2002, for instance, had been capitalized on by political leadership to fuel and foment insecurity and volatility in the Tabon kingdom for years while development eluded them. But thanks to the prowess and wise counsel of the three eminent chiefs, Otumfo, Oseitu the second, Asante Hene, Tuntumba, Borisa Japa the first, Jabora, and now Bahugu Abdullah Mahami Sheriga Nairi. Today, the 16-year Tabon kingdom crisis has been resolved. The traditional leadership lacks the machinery to link us to the global world for effective national development. The chair from Ghana's partnership with France, which is worth 1.4 billion euros and has over 60 French companies coming to invest in the nation. One thing is made obvious, the chair, that the benefits the nation gets from these alliances are towards national development. Have you ever heard of chiefs forming alliances with nations for national development? What they do is the community development.
OWAS won with a score of 238 against 213 for Kumasi Anglican Senior High School.
So the grand total, Supercars had 213, Agogo High School had 238. So Agogo High School advances to the next stage of the competition.
The debaters shared their excitement with Love News.
History has repeated itself again, and it is going to repeat itself until Famina Amas resigns from Love FM High School debates.
Being able to qualify to the quarterfinals of the stage, we told them and we've done exactly what we said.
The next contest is on Friday. Reporting for JoyNews, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
And that's how we end the AM News with Rima Pisa Sibidi. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com.
Oh, hello there. This is the newspaper review segment of the AM show. Thanks to Mapito Sibidi for bringing us the AM news. Joseph Akable is with me in the studio. We'll do the review together. Hey, Joe.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. And
nice.
Good morning to Professor John Japon of the University of Health and Allied Sciences. He's a good friend of the show. Good morning, Prof.
Why are you saying good morning to him? You're not the host of the show. You're my guest.
Yeah, I'm your guest, and I'm also extending greetings to...
Okay, well, you have a test for him?
For Prof, you mean?
Yes.
No, I can't test Prof. That is unfair.
Good.
Prof was my Pro VC at Legon. I can't test Prof.
I just wanted wanted to see if you knew your level, but now that is clear.
I know my level very well, but I have a test for you nonetheless.
Oh, no.
And it's a simple... I was trying to figure out what type of fruit the last one was, but that's not...
Still an apple.
It's still an apple, just a different color.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So, I mean, once you determine what letter each of the apples, especially the first one, the red one, represents, you should be able to determine what the differently colored one also represents. So it's a pretty straightforward thing, multiplication. So something times something times something should give you 8.
Yeah.
And that same thing times that same thing times something else should give you a 12. And so
you're testing me with this?
Yes, it's a straightforward mathematics test. I hope your kids are watching. If it doesn't, if depending on your answer, they'll have a better understanding of why sometimes the homework the teacher canes them, even though they are sure they wrote the correct answer.
You're joking, right?
I should send it to you, then later on you come with your answer.
You're playing.
No,
you're playing. You know the irony. You're playing with me on my own show with this.
The
like seriously.
So
like what kind of game is this?
So what's your
Let's do the newspapers. We'll come back to that. Yeah.
Are you handing over your phone or you?
Patrick Gomez, can you take it off? Joseph is my guest. He doesn't call the shots. Thank you. All right. The newspapers. I've got the Ghanaian Times newspaper, the Daily Guide, and the Business Finder. What are you reviewing?
I'll do the Daily Graphic and the Daily Dispatch, the Daily Statesman, the BNFT, and I'll also give the solution to the quiz as well. I'm
going to solve it.
I see.
I mean, I'm not giving up.
That's fine.
Yeah. I want to do serious business first.
That's fine.
Because that's like a piece of joke. So let's start with the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Here's what's on the front page. Operation Halt not selective, according to Defense Minister Dominic Nitiwu. Boem Kingmakers revoke decision to install new Oman Hene. 339 suspected criminals grabbed in Accra. Transport fares go up June 5 by some 13%. We'll get into the practicality of this in a bit. At the launch of MTN 25th anniversary, provide better services to public. President urges telcos. We've got to say big congratulations to MTN. What's the, Joseph Akable, the first service, the GSM service provider in Ghana? What was the name?
I remember Ariba. There was Space Phone. There was Ariba.
Which one came first?
I'm not too sure.
Space Phone.
Space Phone.
And then it became Space Phone Ariba, and then it became Ariba, and then it became MTN. Yeah.
So they are 25 years now.
They are 25 years, and they're talking about the kind of investment that they've made in Ghana, about $6 billion or so. They're a great service provider. I have a relationship person, Pamela. She is so sweet. So yesterday she suddenly called me in the afternoon just to say hello. I was like, Pamela, sometimes you can be so lovely. And she said, have a good day. So apparently, I think it's the 25th anniversary. She didn't even mention that, but yeah.
It's the number of the papers, I guess, that celebration.
So congratulations to MTN everywhere you go. Also on page 3, the crime-related stories. There's one that made it to the front page, but there's also another one. Police place bounty on killers of Karaga DCE's driver. And then an Accra Circuit Court yesterday adjourned to July 9, the case in which a taxi driver allegedly robbed a beauty salon operator and her clients. It's like the one place that you never think that you will be robbed. And this one was like proper robbery. And this is the salon owner and her client too. They even took a vehicle, took their phones.
They took a vehicle?
Yeah. Vehicle belonging to one of the clients.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there's a complainant whips in courts. It's also another story which is captured by the Ghanaian Times newspaper. So this person got the wall of his house allegedly destroyed by land gas. He caused the arrest, but he's got fears that the investigators may not do a good job. So he was complaining to the reporter. And talking about, because they've now been released on bail. Initially, the report said that the court did not agree that they could be bailed because the leader of that ring is on the run, and there were fears that if you let them go, then you won't find that ring leader. But later on, they were granted bail, and that's what the complainant is unhappy about. So let's do the back page of the paper. Hearts urge liberty, pros in FA Cup. Again is the big oak tree. Accra Hearts of Oak progressed to the round of 32 stage of the MTN FA Cup competition after beating Liberty Professionals 3-0 at the Accra Sports Stadium yesterday. I'm just telling you, as a matter of fact, that's the story.
That's the only story.
I'll just... but this one is the main one. No, and then there's Kotoko Only Progress. That story is like this. The Hearts one, you can see it on the back page of the paper. It's not, if you had not said it, I would not even have noticed. See? Which one's the main story?
Can I do the Daily Graphic now? No,
go ahead.
You still want to do the Hearts of Oak story?
Go ahead.
The front page of the Daily Graphic, judgment debt, NDK's 1.3 billion CD claim thrown out. It's a story by Emmanuel Ibu-Hodgson. And we are told that a legal action by the Attorney General has saved the state from paying more than 1.2 billion in judgment debts, which was being claimed by NDK Financial Services. The company went to court to compel the government to pay the amount it claimed was the outstanding balance and interest on a judgment debt. Instead, the Financial Services was awarded 14,699 cedis. Marvi, 1.2 billion was the request, 1.2 billion cedis. The court said that the company is actually just owed 14,699 cedis there. So,
you know, the Attorney General was disputing the figures presented by the company. So the court got PricewaterhouseCoopers to jointly do it with the Attorney General. And based on the outcome of that, it delivered its ruling. So we don't owe them as much as they claim we do, apparently.
1.2 billion.
Yeah.
Cedis. We actually owe them 14,600.
Well, plus interest.
Plus interest.
Yes.
Plus interest, which I'm told if it's computed according to the AG, he actually spoke about this on PM Express yesterday. He says it will not come to even 1 million cedis to even think of the 1.2 billion that was being claimed. So that is that story there. That's what we expect the AG's office to do, to step in for the state. And sometimes we should also be mindful. We are looking at it in terms of the amount of money, but the other hand is that there's still some judgment that has been incurred anyways. There are 14,000, which will not amount to 1 million cedis, we are told. And so we should be also checking the actions of various state agencies to ensure that we don't engage in acts that takes us there in the first place, because this money can do something for the state nonetheless.
Definitely. You know, there were some very powerful judges sitting on that case with the Chief Justice. Justice Badegbe is retired. He was on this case. Reason is, well, per the constitution we have, he has about some 6 months. There is a 6-month window within which he can clear all the cases he was handling.
So there is
the
Chief Justice Jones Doche.
Yes, Bafoboni,
Sule Badegbe,
Amegache.
Yeah. Sule Badegbe is a very interesting justice of the Supreme Court. You should hear him in court. He has a lot of jokes to crack in the course of proceedings.
I noticed a bit of that when he retired, and was it Kweku Asante that covered that? Yes, I felt a bit of that. I think a lot of people missed it because this was in the thick of the COVID-19, so there were a lot of things that were missing.
But some other stories on the front page of the Daily Graphic this morning: manhandling City FM journalists, national security operatives acted wrongfully, is coming from the National Media Commission. And just highlights of that particular story.
And this was a swift work done by the National Media Commission.
Yes, the NMC promised to do this within 2 weeks, and they've done that. They said this is the outcome of their probe into it. A statement signed by its executive secretary. The commission welcomed the actions taken so far by the ministry and expressed hope that they represented a renewed commitment to democratic approaches in the country. And so, in terms of review, the commission further called for the review of laws relating to security in the media, especially those on prohibited areas within the context of the 1992 Constitution. It also advanced the view that all journalistic enterprises must be carried out openly, following thoroughly due process. However, there could be moments when overriding national interest may necessitate the use of undercover methods. As such moments, journalists require greater care and circumspection to ensure their safety. And so, I mean, essentially they are saying that national security were wrong, but the point that many people made when this particular matter came up is what will be the end game, really. And I guess that's why I'm sure anyone who's listening to me read the story is looking out for the end game. Look, I've read through, there's nothing in terms of sanctions. They don't have the teeth to do that, and that's how come some people had kicked against the matter going to the NMC. They would have preferred it goes to maybe Shraj or some other agency, but that is the state of affairs.
I listened to a lawyer for City FM yesterday who said, first of all, applauding the NMC for a good job done and for the time within which they've done the time frame, really. But he couldn't immediately also share their next step because he said he had to go back to the clients, i.e. City FM, and then he will pick it up from there. So we'll see where this takes us. But for now, NMC has concluded its work on this. The question, and so what is the one that we're trying to figure out now?
There's this other story on the back page of the Daily Graphic about 7 trapped in flooded mining pit. This morning, Albert Soria, our correspondent, brought us an update. He says the police in the Upper East region have confirmed 9 of the miners trapped in a pit at the Barney mining site have been recovered and pronounced dead, and so 9 persons dead. They were trapped after the pit they were working on 3 nights ago was engulfed by water following a heavy downpour. And so the rescue team spent nearly 48 hours, and these were the bodies that they were able to retrieve, 9, and they are still working to see whether there are more people within that particular pit. And so not good news there coming from Upper East region. That is it for the daily graphic.
Let's do the Daily Guide newspaper on the front page. The NDK claim, that story is also here. But government is victim of COVID-19 success comes with a picture of Charles Edubuahin, who was vetted yesterday. Did you listen to him?
I listened to bits of it, especially the controversy surrounding his brokerage company and what role they had played. And so I listened to him. I mean,
There was also one of those light moments where was it Muhammad Yariga who was asking him in what capacity? So he's Minister of State, right? And so he said, what would be his role exactly? And then he said he will be assisting the minister. So Muhammad Yariga said, so you will be assistant minister? And that got people on the committee laughing a bit because, like, you know, we don't have assistant minister, do we? We have deputy ministers.
I mean, it's the idea of a minister of state. Okay, so
it's just his own definition. This one it's not like you don't know, but you're asking, and that's what he's told you. So you're playing on his own words. Yeah, but and then finally he says, well, after vetting, he's going to go back and get a clear mandate. So he didn't have a clear mandate as to what he will be doing as a minister of state.
I mean, you remember the Ayawaso West Wogon Commission, they had reason to make comments about this minister of state situation that pertained to the National Security Ministry, because there was a deputy, there was a National Security Minister, and there was a minister of state in charge of national security. And questions were raised about, okay, so who is the boss, who takes what instructions, and who does what? I mean, there are those who have made a point that, look, ideally, except the Attorney General, the Constitution simply says the President will appoint ministers of state. And so all the ministers actually finance whatever. They are all ministers of state, actually. An instrument has been done to just spell out that you are finance minister. Some make the case, and Isaac Adongo of the Finance Committee, he claims that he feels that, okay, due to the fact that Ken Ofori-Atta may not necessarily be always around, you need someone who will be at his level, who can take decisions that require an approval of a minister of state. That's his suggestion, Isaac Adongo. I don't know how true that claim is. But you recall, even during the Japa transaction, and the review that was done by Martin Amidu, he had raised issues about some of the approval that had been signed by Charles Edubuahin as Deputy Finance Minister. And Mr. Amidu had argued that he didn't have the authorization to have signed that, and it should have rather been the Chief Director if the Minister of Finance could not have signed those agreements. I remember very clearly that government and the AG, for that matter, disagreed with Mr. Amidu's position and actually argued that the minister had authorized him to do those particular things. But, I mean, it comes back to the question again. So what was his role? He said he's what? Assisting?
We are assisting the minister. Okay, but...
So he's the assistant minister of finance.
So that was the controversy. And then Mama said, because I don't know what to ask you, I want to put it in proper context. And then the chairman said, if you don't know what to ask him, then let's move on. And he said, no, I have something to ask. Well, so that's where we are with this matter. I think vetting continues today. This story...
Was Obiamo vetted yesterday?
Yeah, he was amazing. He was amazing, as always. I mean, I'll be surprised if he doesn't get a pass, or I mean, if there's any hold up or anything like that. We're talking about the Member of Parliament for Ikep himself, and I hope that you did monitor that vetting. There's a little bit of, you know, he's not the substantive minister, okay, but he's very knowledgeable, and he made it very clear. And I found it also interesting that at least the bits that I monitored, Elizabeth Foswejare, who is a Member of Parliament, NDC Member of Parliament, actually decided not to ask any question, you know, and that's rare. Usually you find from your side, not the opposite side. Yeah.
I think he's an experienced MP for that matter. He's been around for a while, and he's actually a member of the Appointments Committee as well.
Yes, he is. He's a member of the Appointment Committee.
But you know, generally they tend to be very kind to their colleagues, you know that.
Oh, but then if you also meet somebody who is very knowledgeable in the area of decentralization.
In this particular instance, the person cuts it and also happens to enjoy the support of his colleagues.
So you can't help. There was a sharp contrast, by the way. You know, there are two of them. occupying the deputy, exactly. Yeah. And it was such a sharp contrast for me. And he got a reminder from the chairman that he had to address the issues beyond constituency level, because a deputy ministerial position is a national one. Yeah. So he needed to. And I thought, the difference is so clear. But hey, you say I'm biased, but okay. So I think that's it for the Daily Guide newspaper. Go ahead.
I got the Daily Dispatch now. On the front page, Greater Accra Minister vindicated. Abosokai's spare parts dealers declare we requested to be relocated.
That's the controversy, isn't it? Yeah. Because when you go on the ground and you talk to the people, they say it's their leaders who reached an agreement with the Greater Accra Regional Minister. It is not them, after all.
I'm not even too sure that we should call it a vindication in that sense, because there's no contradiction, really. The minister said on Adom FM that he had met the leaders, and the leaders had suggested to him that they should relocate them. And government has said, okay, I'm going to do that. I'll find a place here and take you there. We went to speak to the Abosokai spare parts dealers, who said, it's our leaders who have gone to enter into an agreement. That's not how we feel about it. Look, we have agreements here, some of us 10 plus years, that we are supposed to use this place. And so I don't think there's any vindication in this instance. But the point really is the disagreement between the leaders and the spare parts dealers, and that is what needs to be resolved. But
there's some development on that one, because there are media reports this morning that there's heavy military presence at Abosokai. Now, we're not sure if this is linked to this relocation operation yet. We'll verify that and give you more credible updates.
There's some more stories on the front page of the Daily Dispatch. Focus on Joe Gate is on page 11. I'm not too sure what's happening with him, but we have been told there is a focus on Joe Gate here. Okay, but some more stories. Money-making rituals. Police discover head and body of 12-year-old 3 arrested. Also on the front page. The back page of the Daily Dispatch now. No military officer has seized any gold from illegal miners.
But he answered you.
Yeah, you were the one.
Curious minds, me.
You were the one who asked me about it, so
I asked you.
We passed on the question.
Me, I asked you.
It was asked. He has refuted assertions that the military deployed confiscated gold from the Galamsey sites, and so I've been hearing people forcing the armed forces to accept that they have seized things that they have not seized. The armed forces have not seized any gold. If they have seized any gold, they will declare it. It is not possible for 420 officers and men to hide anything they have seized. It is simply not possible. And so the question really had been that when they go to the mining site, they say they've burnt champagne, they've burnt excavators, they've seized gallons, whatever. People were asking that mining sites there, like, they couldn't find gold at all.
You know, and
so this is the answer that he provided.
No, but if you want to be practical, listen, they announce where they're going. You think that the people will leave gold sitting there?
So the people have packed it.
I mean, even ask those who visit the gold sites, the mining sites, if they easily see gold. Ankuma, would you easily see gold at the site? No.
You have to go deep.
Who they're giving you notice? 2 weeks, we are coming. You think they will leave gold there? I mean, it's not practical. I trust the Ghana Armed Forces.
Ankuma, by the way, is a camera technician. Our viewers should be wondering.
Yeah. He's a special operator. He's very knowledgeable in other areas, i.e. mining.
The front page of the Daily Statesman now says, so government determined to protect coastal communities, and digitization will benefit all, President Akufo-Addo assures, and prosecution of Galamsey suspects begins. NDK judgment debt, AG saves over 1.27 billion cedi for the state. The last one for me will be that of the BNFT. EU warns Ghana against illegal fishing as economy loses more than $50 million yearly. And rising crude prices, cedi performance could see motorists pay more fuel. Yes, we are starting to pay more fuel. In fact, we've been paying more fuel for more fuel already. In terms of those who use public transport, is taking effect on Saturday. And government to reduce spectrum and licensing fees to push down data cost. And the back page has some other stories that you can find if you grab a copy of the BNFT newspaper. That is it for the pictures.
I think if you are boarding a trotro from Insawam to Circle, you'll now be paying 6 cedis 80 pesos instead of 6 cedis, and that will take effect from the weekend. So don't be surprised if Monday the fares go up, because that's what's supposed to happen.
The bus conductors, I mean, they should find the 20 pesos fee. I really hate that drama. 680, so always maybe 20 pesos. Meaning if you don't have 20 pesos, I don't have 80 pesos.
And you also found so
we just keep
so when you get there, you just give them pepe 680.
Well, that's fair. But either you take 6 cedis or you find my 20 pesos for me.
You know, usually that would be...
you know, they will tell you that the like omu dear more, like, you understand. Because it's one city and they have 80, you have 20, so it's better.
I've seen people practically fight over 20 pesos.
I've seen 10
change.
pesos before.
Hey, Charlie. All right. Okay. Let's do the Business Finder. Front page of the Business Finder, government leveraging technology to accelerate economic growth, according to President Akufo-Addo. And then Ecobank has launched special car loan scheme. GCB reduces interest on personal loans amidst other incentives. We want the industry to be very competitive, okay? We want to get to the point where, Charlie, if your bank is not doing what the others are doing, you move, that kind of thing. We need a very competitive banking sector. So that's, if you want to change your vehicle and top up, you know, like, you can easily do it. This is, Charlie, hard. But if you're interested in the market, summary, consumer price inflation, interest rates, Ghana Stock Exchange, currencies. Oh, the US dollar is now 5.8. Pound is 8.2. Euro is 7.8. The yuan is less than 1 cedi. Okay. Gold is $1,905 an ounce. And cocoa is $2,431 per ton. There's plenty more in the Business Finder that you can explore. Any stories you want to highlight? Have you done the Business and Financial Times?
Yes.
Okay. Any story you want to talk about before we do myjawline.com?
No, I'm good with
okay. All right. Let's put your question there now. Now that, no, we're not done with the serious business. So let's do myjawline.com and then we'll come and play. All right. myjoyonline.com. Achimota School withdraws application for stay of execution. So essentially, this would have been, if granted, it's not like automatic. If it had been granted, then it would have meant that whilst they pursue the appeal, the 2 students would still not be able to enter Achimota School. But as we now are aware of, because of the Attorney General's intervention, they've withdrawn this, which means the boys can go back to school today. We're told, like ASAP, they can go return to school today, but they're still pursuing. They filed, right?
I don't know whether they filed the appeal itself yet, but what they confirmed they have filed is the stay, which they've instructed the lawyers to go ahead and withdraw. Because I mean, I was really wondering why they would have wanted to file the stay, but
yeah, I realized one thing though. The Board of Governors, the statement that said they were going to appeal the decision, was signed by Professor Ite. But this other statement, the very last statement from the same board that was talking about they're going to comply with the directive given, had a different signatory.
Interesting.
Just saying, just my observation. That's the chairman. I think the person who signed now is the chairman of the board. I'm not sure the name, but it was a different person from Professor Ite.
I think the AG's intervention was very, very timely. I mean, and he explained the legal position that he holds, and he told us even before Achimota came out with the second statement that the school cannot disagree with his directive because he's the principal legal advisor. The GES manages the schools, and he advises the GES legally and tells them what they should also do as well. And so once the school falls within the GES, and I have seen some like Ace and Koma make the point that GES has so much authority that he simply does not understand why this should be a matter that should even be litigated upon in the first place. The GES directive, they have the mandate to decide what happens in the schools, and once they make that decision, it should be complied with by the various schools to avoid the litigation. But the AG thinks that, okay, allowing higher court to pronounce on it will give some further clarity on it. But I have read the full opinion by Justice Gifty AJ. I read the decision yesterday. Very brilliant. I mean, effectively saying that the main argument Achimota makes is allowing the students will affect discipline in the school. They raise issues of hygiene. And her argument is that they fail to provide evidence to show how discipline and hygiene will be affected when one person is wearing his dreadlocks or when another person is wearing a dreadlock simply because that is their religion. They don't dispute their religion, she says. They don't dispute that they are Rastafarians. They don't dispute, Achimota does not dispute that to manifest their religion, they keep their dreadlocks.
They actually say that doesn't matter. It's, what did they say, inconsequential.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to the substance because they are only enforcing a regulation. And I think for the first time, reading it, I also appreciated their school rule which said all boys must keep their hair short. So it doesn't even talk about dreadlocks. It just simply says all boys must keep their hair short. And it doesn't make exceptions because this is like an exception to the rule. Yeah. But I think it was a thorough delivery of. She's a fantastic woman. Yesterday, you mentioned her. We talked about. You mentioned some other cases that she did.
Susu case.
Yeah.
Well. So, I mean, I would love to for it to go all the way to the Supreme Court. I doubt it will be set aside. Maybe some modifications here and there. But reading through it, because the crux of the matter really is what evidence was used to show that discipline will be affected, and that is what a lot of people had been arguing, that it's an age-long practice. Short hair. Why must the hair be short? The question is what needs an answer. And I mean, I guess you have answers for us. You can't just run us through it and let's clap for you. Yeah, you have answers for us.
I have answers for what? Why the hair must be cut short?
Yeah. The quiz.
Oh, the quiz. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay, let's do the quiz. Blah, 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 blah. So you have to multiply this by this by this and get 8, right? So isn't that 2?
Yes, that is 2.
Okay.
2 to 4, 4 to 8, correct.
And then 2
to 4.
Shouldn't this be 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one was easy.
I mean, that's why I said we should, like, this is, I don't need Professor Japon.
Tomorrow is Friday. I'll find something. In fact, I'll give you a question for Prof and yourself.
Like, seriously?
Yeah.
Member of Parliament for South Dai, Mr. Roxin Nelson, the former, sent me a video of a Kenyan who has been called to the Kenyan bar. He's a practicing lawyer now. Because I was asking him on the show yesterday if we have known Rastafarians being called to the bar.
Ghana here. I've seen, I don't know whether it's Rastafarian, but I've seen a lawyer in dreadlocks here in Ghana.
He mentioned that.
He mentioned that as well. Yeah, actually, I met him one time when I was exiting the court. Very well kept hair, and he had but he was wearing a wig at the top. The wig. He was wearing it on top of it. Yeah.
So this is the Kenyan one.
Okay.
Yeah, man. And this is a proper Rasta man. He's the only one practicing lawyer there now. And I guess, yeah. Your hair shouldn't be a hindrance, really. All right, okay, so that's it for the review segment here of our show. Go to myjoyonline.com and then, you can explore a lot more. There's an update on the mining issue that you mentioned. If you go to myjoyonline.com, you would see that police in the Upper East region, they've confirmed that the bodies of 9 miners trapped in the pits at Barney mining site have been recovered. The miners were trapped after the pits they were working in 3 nights ago was inundated with water from a heavy downpour in the Talensi districts. And so the backstory of that, how the rescue team spent nearly 48 hours pumping water out of the underground mining tunnels and eventually rescuing, retrieving really 9 bodies from the pits. So we'll leave you to explore myjoyonline.com. That's it for the review. Thank you for your company. Thank you, Joseph Akablay. We've got one more day to spend together, which is tomorrow. Stay with us. Oh, introduce Muftal. Now do it properly because his mother is watching. Nabila is in the middle. Go.
Muftal Abdul Nabila.
No, I just said Nabila is in the middle.
Muftal Nabila joins us for
Abdullahi. Ebeyo.
Muftal Nabila Abdullahi joins us for sports. That's how I've been bullied this morning.
Now let's do some Black Stars news because Mohamed Kudus has joined CAP. There's also a late invitation for Atizigi to replace the injured Richard Ofori. Moro Salfo of Bechimi United and Joe Femeye have all earned late call-ups to the senior national team to beef up the squad ahead of next week's international friendlies against Morocco and Ivory Coast.
Trio, who originally lost part of the team, are in Cape Coast training with the rest of the squad for the international matches scheduled for June 8th and 12th respectively. Atizigi, who had a brilliant season with St. Gallen in the Swiss Super League, comes in to replace Richard Ofori. Fameye, a former player of Asokwa Deportivo, scored 12 goals and made 5 assists for FC Orenburg in their quick promotion back to the Russian Premier League. Bechem United's Moro Salifu has been in and out of the team as he missed out of the final squad for the African Cup of Nations qualifier in March this year. 17 players trained on Monday. They include Lawrence Atizigi, Razak Abalura, Danlad Ibrahim, Gideon Mensah, Andy Yadom, Philemon Balfour, Daniel Amate, Joseph Eje, Nicolas Opoku, Ismail Ganiu, Emmanuel Lumote, Baba Idrisu, Moro Salifu, Joel Fameye, Gladson Awako, Emmanuel Jesse, and Rashid Norte. The team will continue their preparations this week before departing to Morocco.
And talk of national team, as the Black Stars are preparing to face Morocco and Ivory Coast next week, the Black Meteors are also currently in Japan. They will play Japan and South Korea. These matches will be played on June 4 and June 8, June 12 and June 15 respectively. Now let's do stories that has to do with infrastructure in the country, and a sort has been cut for the construction of the Agogo Wembley Sports Complex. The ultra-modern facility, which is being financed by Ghana Gas, will be constructed by Wembley Sports Construction Company Limited. There's more in the following report.
The Agogo Wembley Sports Complex, which will be ready in 6 months' time, will boast of football pitch, spectator stand, floodlights and fencing. This is the 36th project of Wembley Sports Construction Company Limited, SPS in artificial turfs. The sword cutting ceremony was graced by Agogomahene Nana Kwame Akuo Kusapon and Agogomahema Nana Afrakuma Sewa Kusi Obuadum, Chief Executive Officer of the Asante Achim North Municipal Assembly, Honorable Otiboatin, underscored the importance of the project.
I hope this one will be a reality and it will come to pass, and it will be a very good project to unearth the potentials and all the talents in the district, so that we can also create wonderful players and very talented projects like Safo Janfis and Co. who are here. And this time I can assure you that we are going to get a football academy in Asante Achim North, so that we can train the youth right from day 10 to create very good environment for them in the near future.
The Agogo Wembley Sports Complex is being financed by Ghana Gas. Ernest Ousubempa is Communications Director of the company.
Of the Ghana Gas CEO and the management team, we thank everybody, especially the chiefs and people of Asante Achim, Nana Kwakusapon, Nana Frakuma Kusi Obuadum, and the entire Agogo Traditional Council for also their support, and the MC and the town folks as well. So we thank them, and I think that this project is going to help unearth a lot of talents for Asante Achim, and we hope that we're going to maintain it and make it one of the best facilities that will give Ghana great sports athletes who is going to help to help Ghana go forward.
The long-time dream of Wembley Sports is to construct a state-of-the-art astroturf in every constituency in the country.
Let's do some boxing news, and date has been set for the world title eliminator between Ghana's Manyo Plank and Melvin Lopez of Nicaragua of Las Vegas. The fight, originally scheduled for June 19, will now be staged on July 26. There's more in the following report.
This is obviously a big opportunity for Manyo Planch, who is a 2008 Olympian. Of course, he was part of the generation that had the likes of Basti Samer, who at the time was the captain of the side. Manyo Planch, for a very long time, has been one of the most consistent boxers on the local scene here in Ghana, and has established himself well, being one of the finest bantamweights we could ever get. Now, this bout poses a very, very big challenge to him, because he needs to win it to ensure that he books himself for one of the big dates for the WBA title proper. As things stand now, Manyo Planch, who is undefeated in 21 bouts, is number 2 on the WBA's rankings. Melvin Lopez, on the other hand, from Nicaragua, is the man who has 26 professional bouts with 1 loss. Well, there's a lot more to do in the build-up to this bout, but there is more on this on the sports page of myjoyonline.com.
And signing out, just to let you know that Kumasi Asante Kotoko have terminated the contract of Michael Vinicius, the striker they signed from Brazil, for some circumstances that are beyond public knowledge. That's our time for meters for sports on AM Show. I am Muftau Nabila Abla. Head on to myjoyonline.com and read some more stories. AM Show continues with Mama V.
Observed that some illegal miners have moved their mining equipment, particularly excavators, to just nearby communities. So you are passing and you can see huge excavators standing in communities, but they've moved them out of the 100-meter zone. But you can see that this is a little community, and then you have 10, 20 excavators standing there. You know that they were using to do illegal things, but because it's not within the 100 meters, you cannot destroy them. So the armed forces will pass and move on. We need to take a decision about some of these things as a government and as a people. So like I said, that some illegal miners have moved their mining equipment, particularly excavators, to nearby communities that were out of the speculated 100-meter limit of operational activity for major river bodies. For instance, there's a community called Esua. Troops chanced upon 11 excavators that have been moved 2 kilometers away from the illegal mining site along the river Ankobra, with the possibility, of course, of illegal miners redeploying the equipment at an opportune time. So that's what happened. You go and see these excavators standing there. They have just moved them. They could clearly see that they had destroyed the river bodies. But what they did is to move them off from there. We will take a decision on this equipment. We will take a decision very, very soon on them, because we know they will want to go back. But because we set 100 meters, they have decided, okay, we're going to move them to 2 kilometers away, 1 kilometer away. But we will take a decision on them very, very soon. Like I said, it's in their interest not to go back. But if you decide to park your excavators there and they have no use, we will take a decision on them as a government.
And that's Defense Minister Dominic Nitiwo addressing the media yesterday, giving an update on Operation Halt. The work so far, particularly an update on their last operation, which was the 4th phase of the operation, which commenced on Thursday, May 27, and ended on Saturday, May 29. He said a total of 592 assorted items were destroyed, and the breakdown: 341 Shanfan machines, 24 excavators, 132 water pumping machines, 30 water holes, and 30 wooden structures. They also got hold of 6 generator sets, 4 grinding machines, 6 motorbikes, and 30 barrels of fuel. 5 persons, including 3 Chinese and 2 Ghanaians, have been arrested. There was also the Information Minister, Kojo Ponkroma, who said that there are a number of prosecutions involving illegal miners that are ongoing. He said the state was committed to ensuring that the prosecutions would go through to its logical conclusion. What we missed was a proper breakdown in terms of what is in court. All right, so that's the update from this Operation Halt. And the minister also saying that they're not being selective, because that was also an issue that came up. Let's settle down and have a conversation on the back of that. My guest in the studio is Mr. Ebenezer Oklite Telab. He's Member of Parliament for Lower Manya Krobo, also ranking member, Environment, Science and Technology Committee, as well as the Gender Children Committee. I think the environment mining is crucial to this conversation right now. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here. First of all, you've been Deputy Defense Minister before, so you appreciate the operation that's going on. And then also you sit on the Environment Committee of Parliament, so you've got a lot to say. Yes. Operation Halt isn't giving up. There's been plenty of conversations with regards the burning of the equipment. I don't know where you stand on that.
Well, thank you very much. And good morning to our viewers. I believe that, we all agree to the fact that this aspect of mining, that the illegal, for that matter, galamsey, is causing a lot of harm, and there's a need for us to really, do away with it. Otherwise, we risk, losing a lot. We have already lost, the Ghana Water Company is complaining. People are losing their farming, farmlands. People are getting trapped. There's a recent, incident that happened in, is it Talensi? I mean,
retrieved 9 bodies.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
For us, yesterday, I thought they said they had not been able to, but it is not, something that we need to joke with, and therefore we need to really find, after we have gone through the process of trying to use force and it has not been successful, we need to revisit, the legal regime. We need to look at what, we call, or the classification of the various, mining systems,
But you say after we use force and we haven't succeeded.
We have not.
No, but we're still using force, and the operation hasn't ended. How do you conclude that we haven't succeeded?
We have not. You see, the point is that people are still complaining about the fact that it is not, in our statute books to burn equipment, to burn them. No, you understand. So,
but is it giving us some results?
Well, I'm yet to, get some feedback from, in that wise, because I mean, I don't know what you call result. If it is prosecution, that is results, fine. If it is the fact that we are getting our, our river bodies and whatever getting back to their normal, forms, fine. If that is what, if we are getting, what do you call it, a forest cover, back, that is the result. You understand? But are we getting any of these? Not yet. You understand? But you see, that is not the end. We have used force before, the Akufo-Addo's era. The NDC tried something. We realized, it was not going well. We needed to revise. And
but this is different, isn't it? This is an entirely military operation.
Certainly, that was what happened, previously. The military, were...
You do a combined force.
Yes.
But this time, there is no combined force here.
No, what is the difference? It's the same thing. You are using force, right? How sustainable is this? You understand? We are dealing with human beings. And we need to really... as I said, let's revisit our law regime, the legal regime, right? Let's look at the various classification. If it is, the last time I was talking about the fact that the minister raised, an issue that I subscribe seriously to. The fact that we need to look at what redefine small-scale mining. If we need to introduce, medium scale, you understand, it comes with a certain commitment, And if you want to deter people, it is not only force, you can also use some form of, taxes. Because those who are engaged in large-scale mining have so much commitment. And that's the reason why a lot of people will shy away from large-scale and want to, hide behind, small-scale and do whatever they are doing now. You understand? Then there's another aspect of the problem. Those who are giving licenses to do, exploration. Exploration, you're supposed to, there's a certain, limited diameter of drilling that you're supposed to do within the enclave. But they end up giving up, the land to these small scalers. And they do all manner of things, and which leads to destruction of water bodies, whatever. Because you see, they are in a hurry. They are in a hurry to do whatever they are doing. You understand? And then the deployment of, excavators. When you look at the definition of small-scale mining, it's supposed to be purely artisanal, minimum mechanization. The question is that, can't we come up with, law that will ban the use of excavators? Because you see, when you look at what is happening in Talensi, for instance, I think there's a minimal use of equipment in that area. So you get to that area, yes, they are exposing themselves to danger. They are going underground. They are digging. They are trapped now. But if you look at the rate at which the rate of earth movement, it's relatively low because they don't use excavators. You understand? When you go to Akwatia, Galamsey started intensively in the 80s, 70s in that area. But at the time, we didn't have massive earth movement like we have now because people were using, shovels and pickaxes and whatever. You understand? So let's ask if we can. We can have a regulation. People import, excavators into the country. They go through our ports. Can we say if you are importing this equipment, we need to know. You need to really tell, indicate what they're going to use the equipment.
But we know people rent it.
Yes.
So usually you'd find out it's not the owners of the equipment.
You see, yes, they are not the owners of the equipment, but you see, whoever is importing, some regulation of the sort, you bring in equipment, you rent them for what purpose? You understand? If it's for road construction, and then you pay some tax.
But it's just for the books, so they will tell you what you want to hear.
Certainly,
what will make them
but the follow-up.
Clear.
And then another issue that we need to look at is the process of giving licenses. The process. Now there's a problem with that. Why? The last time I went for these dialogues, display areas where they can find gold. They have earmarked areas where you can put for potential mining. They were exhibiting mining equipment, etc. But I see at the forum, we were there to talk about the dangers of mining, illegal mining and whatever. But they came there, displaying those things. You see, and what actually happens is that I believe that if we really want to fight this head on, then the EPA must be at the forefront. The EPA must collaborate with lands, or the Minerals Commission, for that matter, indicate, or even before, people are given releases to go, and have access to concessions, the EPA must assure us, must give us, must do all the assessment in the area as to whether activities of the sort will not affect, river water bodies, even the forest, right? So the environmental impact assessment must be done even before. But the problem we have is that people go to Minerals Commission, they are handed over, concessions. Then, because they are impatient, they are in a hurry, they will not even wait for EPA to come out with, and sometimes they even see EPA as a stumbling block. So they go behind their back and then start mining. You understand? Even before the EPA releases its, assessment. You understand? So we need to look at all of this. Yeah. We need to look at all of this if we really want to solve the problem. Because look, I can tell you for a fact, what we are doing now is not sustainable. It is not. Because we have people, now what is happening is that those who were trapped, I hear they went in the night. Mm-hmm. They went in the night to go and do what they were doing.
But I also wanted to ask you, because you sit on the Environment Committee in Parliament.
Yeah, that's right.
How are you looking at this issue of Galamsey and the current fights? What's the committee talking about these days?
The committee talking about... Well, you see, the committee is following all that is happening. And as I said, one of the things that we need to do is to revisit the legal regime. You understand? Is there anything, to amend? Is there anything that we can do that is enforceable? You understand? Anything that we can do that can really help us, the situation as it is now.
Okay, so has anything been brought to the attention of the committee? Are there amendments? Because some people have said that if you're going to destroy, like the way
then you have to come back to
exactly.
You have to come back to
so
Parliament.
Has something been presented?
No, not at all. Not at all. Nothing of the sort has been.
So in that case, I mean, what is Parliament also doing? Are you just sitting and waiting for the executive to present something?
No, not really. You see, I'm sure you've been following what is happening in Parliament. Parliament, what we can do is to come up with statements, comments here and there, and then we have an interaction with what do you call it? The ministry. The ministries we preside over. You understand? Any bill, in fact, now we have the opportunity to come, in with a private members bill, right? We may have to explore that and see if we can, as a committee or as individual, members, bring in, bring up issues about some of these amendments, because we now have the opportunity to do that. I think we'll consider that, going forward. We'll do that. Yeah.
All right. So on this issue of as in mining, I guess the conversation will continue.
But you see, quickly, seriously, we need to, revisit the issue about burning of these excavators.
What do you find wrong? Okay, so Operation Halt has a mandate.
Yes.
Clear everything that you see within.
But you see, but the law says
within the red zone.
The law says seize them, and then they can be allocated to
so have we seized them before?
We have.
What useful things have we done with the seized excavators in the past?
No, you see the point that are we saying that we don't have people with some modicum of integrity?
No, but you are a senior politician. You've been in this game for quite a bit. So I'm asking you, have we done anything useful with what we've seized in the past?
We have seized them before, and they never got missing. Another regime comes, we seize and they get missing. It doesn't mean that we don't have Ghanaians who can really oversee some of these things. No, let's look at it. Let's really think. Let's really look at.
I guess we were not following keenly as we have been following in recent past. So we can't be sure when you say that you've seized in a different regime and nothing has gone missing.
If there's any time, you see, that's what I mean. This government really missed the opportunity to make an impact seriously, because you see, if you look at between 2017, right, and 2020, the interest, the media, everybody was following what was happening, right? And even if you go back and look at, what has happened to our river bodies, the worst, happened between 2017 and 2020.
But it didn't start from 2017.
No, what I'm saying that the worst...
way back.
It did.
Perhaps, it's not even perhaps. If we had started...
something...
then we would not be... We wouldn't have gotten here.
Something prevented, us from having the situation we had 2017 to 2020. Something happened. You understand?
Did something really happen, or we've just been progressing and this is where we are today because of our inactions in the past?
There's a lot. Well, I don't know if you have time, but you see, there's a lot that happened. You understand? There's a lot that happened. There were people who thought that, it was their time. It was their time to also go into mining. Whether they have knowledge, whether they have, gone through the process of acquiring licenses or not, let us go, because we also need money. And these are some of the things that influence, what we have now. You understand? And that is the reason why, if those in the mining areas will tell you, the extent of pollution that we have, now, right, wasn't what pertained in 2016. This is worse. You understand? This is worse. It means we got something wrong. We didn't do something well, even if the problem was there.
All right, so we'll see what happens in terms of, because I am curious. Ghanaians have been talking. You're representatives of the people.
Certainly.
So we can't just be talking. We have to come up with some actions.
Of course.
And I guess the committee we will see the actions that the committee take in the absence of executive president?
Well, we have gone round.
Anything?
You know, during our recent recess, we went round. And
as a committee?
As a committee. There's a report that is coming up very soon.
Doing what? You are inspecting water bodies or mining sites?
Everything that has to do with the environment. You know, including waste management, you know, land use, everything.
Okay.
Spatial planning, whatever.
So the committee is going to issue a report?
Yes, a report is coming out very soon. We are looking at it.
Okay.
You understand? But as I said, you know, we have an opportunity now to really come up with a private members bill. You know, which can may seek to amend some of the, you know,
Your area is not free from mining, is it?
No. The mine limestone in my constituency. Yeah.
All right.
Limestone.
Let's just quickly turn our attention from illegal mining and galamsey issues to the Achimota School and where we are today. The Board of Governors issued a statement. This was a reaction to the High Court ruling, the very first time when they reacted. And the High Court had ruled that the 2 boys should be made to go to Achimota School. And this was the governing board represented. This was the very first one reacting to the initial court ruling. And they give a background and they said that they had learned of the outcome of the case brought against it by 2 persons who had earlier applied to be admitted to the school. The court ruled that the religious rights of the 2 applicants had been violated by the school management as they sought to enforce the time-tested and well-known rules of the school. The court further directed the school to admit the 2 applicants. The school board disagrees with the ruling of the court, and the board therefore directed its lawyers to appeal against the ruling. And this was signed by chairman of the board of the school, and this was quickly after the ruling. And then yesterday, this came up after, we're told, a meeting between the Education Ministry, the Ghana Education Service, the Attorney General, and other interested stakeholders. They said they had revised that statement that I read to you just a while ago, further to a statement issued on 1st June 2021 on the subject of 2 Rastafarian applicants. We have been in consultation with other relevant stakeholders to seek the best ways forward, taking into account the interests of all parties, while the board remains committed to the appeal against the High Court ruling. It will withdraw the application for a stay of execution pending the determination of the appeal by a High Court. We have accordingly advised our legal counsel in this respect. So this was the revised statement issued by the board of Achimota School after that meeting yesterday. We understand that the 2 boys have reported to school this morning. Hopefully everything stays the same. But even in this statement, they make the strong case of the fact that they are going to appeal the High Court decision. Some have said that we should let it go. I mean, at this point, Achimota should just simply give up. But they aren't giving up. They're going to be testing the law.
Yeah, exactly what the applicants did. They tested the law. One High Court has given a judgment, which is not binding on another one. And who knows, the appeal might overturn whatever. But you see, I believe that we need to really tread cautiously in this direction. Human rights, yes. Does it have limits? Yes, it does. Can you imagine if one of these days a student walks into the headmaster's office and then tells the headmaster, it is my right not to wear the prescribed uniform? It
wouldn't be overstretching and misdirecting.
I mean, this is just the beginning.
Substance of this particular case.
This is just the beginning.
Is it?
It is just the beginning. You understand? There are people there are traditionalists who believe that they shouldn't wear, they don't wear shoes. They only use, what do you call it? I mean, you understand? So if they also walk up to the headmaster and say, okay, this is what I believe in, you understand? You see, let us not lose sight of the fact that every institution has its regulation, but must fit within our legal regime, right? You need to have some order in every situation. There must be order. Somebody must be in charge. But if we think that this is the way we should go, or this is the way we must go, as I said, we are opening the floodgates. I read a news by one Bishop Asante Entry. He said then, Galamsey, I mean, it's somebody's right. Right?
Isn't that, like...
what do you call it? Prostitution is a right.
That's unfair, isn't it? I mean, this is a specific issue.
That is the extent to which people can stretch it, and you shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but then you have to test it because
that's what I'm saying. So they have. So what I'm saying is that we wouldn't be surprised. You see, that is why I started with the caution. Let us tread cautiously in this direction. Otherwise, it will open the floodgates, and nobody knows what will come up next. In the name of human rights.
So you disagree with this ruling?
I do. Because I believe that there must be order, seriously. I believe that order. You see, how old are these children? Do they really appreciate the kind of religion they are practicing so well? Is it parental influence? You understand? Look,
those of us who are Christians,
yeah.
You go to Pentecost, don't you?
Yes, I do. How did you know?
I did my work.
Okay. Yeah.
So parents carry their children along to church.
You see, that's interesting. It's good that you got to know that. My father, put me into the church of Methodist church. When I grew up at 18, when I went to the university, I decided to change.
So same arguments.
Yeah.
They are under 18.
They're under 18, yes. Yeah.
So they're also following what they were born into.
No.
Perhaps when they get to 18 or cross, they might decide to change that. I'm no longer Rastafarian.
But you see, the point that the effect on their future, the effect is what they're having now. You see, can you imagine what these children are going to go through?
But what's your fear? We've seen very responsible, successful Rastafarians. So is it their culture or their religion that you disagree with?
You see, it is not about the religion. It's about the fact that you have decided, to apply to a particular institution. You understand? It's like you want to join the Ghana police, and they tell you can't wear beard. You have to do this. You have to do that. It's a matter of right. As a matter of my right, I want to wear beard. The Ghana police says, no, you can't. If you want to be, a police officer, you need to look a little smart. And these are, our rules and regulations. You either go for it or you leave it. You understand? You are coming to Achimota School. Achimota School says, look, given our circumstance, we don't allow people to wear dreadlocks because of peer pressure. People can just copy. You can influence. It goes with a lot of things.
But here's you understand? The argument you're making is very interesting. I appreciate your point. But
another school can say, I don't mind, come.
A person going to the police, that's a profession.
Yes.
This is a child
that is being trained.
But that's education. Education is your basic right. You can't go to police and say, it is my right to get into the police.
Oh, listen,
so take me.
Listen, you see, the point is that, yes, it is my right. When the police advertises, it is for everybody.
Yeah, it is for you to. It is for you to apply.
It is for everybody if you qualify. Achimota School says, yes, you can have 13 ones, but that's why the uniforms are prescribed.
But
that's why uniforms are prescribed.
But the fundamental thing has been crossed already. Computerized, GES has already placed you in the school, so they are now not going to.
Listen. You see. Are you saying that they didn't make any input as parents or the children choosing the schools? They also, I'm sure that was their choice. and based on your performance.
That was their first choice, actually,
Certainly.
because they're very brilliant. They got excellent
marks. It doesn't really matter. You see, I mean, the fact that you are brilliant doesn't mean that you can break any law, or you don't. I mean, you don't. Well, let me.
Is it because this is a school rule that says keep your hair low?
Yes.
But are we saying that there aren't exceptions to rules? We make exceptions all the time, and if they've been able to make a very good argument that it is religion, then so be it.
Then what I'm saying is that let's brace ourselves. Let's get ready, because there are other people who also believe in certain things, and if they come up, I'm sure we'll not be sitting here making arguments against those people, because they also have a right.
Okay.
So let's get ready. Okay.
Is that the conversations around
that is what
on the back
not
of
necessarily.
this?
I mean, that is what I've been thinking about. You see, I mean, everybody has a right, but we must agree that there's a limit. There must be some limitation. We must put some brakes somewhere, especially teenagers, because you see, let's look around. Let's look at what is happening in other places. The reason why there are countries that you wouldn't like your child, under 18 to school. To school in. You understand? It doesn't really matter.
So, I was reflecting on something yesterday, and this has nothing to do with law or anything else. I just remembered that when I was studying journalism, one of my mates was a traditionalist. Cool. So he would come to school barefooted, exactly, in special costume.
That's right.
And it occurred to me, if we were giving education to everybody, irrespective of your background, because we're building a society and we say education makes a lot of difference. If we were giving everybody education once they volunteered to be educated, wouldn't we have a better society in the end, whether you are whatever it is?
You see, what is education in the first place? Is it just going to school or being taught in a classroom? It is not. It's the embodiment of, the development of you as a person. Everything inclusive. You understand? Adherence to rules and regulations is part of education. Being able, to live and work within a certain regime. You understand? Education is not just, they teach you mathematics, they teach you English, they teach you this and that. No.
Yeah, but that...
You must come up as a total,
whilst I appreciate that, the mathematics and the maths, the grades, that also gets you very far in life. After all, there are people set standards and limits, and they say if you don't have a first degree, for instance, you can't pursue certain things.
Very well.
So that's equally very important.
It is.
And I'm just saying that aspect, if we could give it to everybody.
But you have a very brilliant person who breaks the law. Is that okay?
And not to cut you, but just to bring you and our viewers an update on the situation that's happening in Abosokai that I mentioned a while ago. There's tension that's brewing, military presence, we're told. Joseph Akable is on the ground. Joseph, what can you report?
So we are live from Abosokai here, and I have the MC for Ablekuma Central, Mariama Mui. I got the name right?
Yeah.
We realize there's a bit of an exercise that is taking place here. If you could explain to us what exactly is happening.
Yeah, thank you very much. Like you said, my name is Honorable Mariama Kaliamui, MC for Ablekuma Central Municipal Assembly. We are here today in the first place in memory of June 3rd disaster around Circle and its environs. We want to set this day so that neighbors, Ghanaians should know that we should clean our environment to get rid of the filth that will go and choke our gutters to bring the disasters. That's why specifically we set today for this cleanup exercise. But in the actual fact, we have a decongestion tool on this Abosokai, I should say their highway is this one. In fact, for some time now, they've engaged their business up to the road, in the middle of the road. They've mounted umbrellas and containers, small ones, selling their wares like mini shops. You come, you you ask them to go back and problems and all that. So for more than 1 month, we've been coming to talk to them and let them know we are coming to decongest the place. So we've given them enough time. In conjunction with RCC and Abosokan Spare Parts Dealers Association, we are doing this. And they've had enough education on this. So you can see the people are not resisting. They are helping in the cleanup and the decongesting. That's purposely why we are doing this. We want to decongest this place. Then gradually, there is a place for them. We are arranging when it's ready. We are doing it gradually at Dowenya or Afienya, these two places. We are trying, the RCC is trying to acquire a place there to put us something like a spare parts village so that we'll get the city clean, devoid of this mess. You know, there are parts when it gets into our drains and all that, it brings a lot of problem. So purposely, that is why you see this thing happening.
And you say that people are in agreement, and I'm asking this because earlier we had interacted with not the leadership, some of the ordinary spare parts dealers here who said they've not agreed to be relocated from this particular place. And so is it a conversation that, in your opinion, has gone down to the ordinary people?
Yeah, it has gone down with the ordinary people. But you see, my brother, in everything you have people who say we don't want it. But you have to take the interests of the area, the government, and everything. You have to take so many things into consideration. This place is choked, and should any disease break up here, and it will be very bad for the country. You see, and even the shop owners, these guys who are on the roads, they used to buy from their shops to sell on the roads. You see, and they are complaining. They are not buying. Their sales are going down. And these scrap dealers too, you know, excuse me to say, some of them go about stealing people's car parts. They come and sell to some of them, alleging some of them, that they go and polish it and sell it. Though people are getting the impression that now Abosokan is selling fake spare parts. You see, this is also part of what they are trying to debunk from the minds of people, that they are not selling fake parts. So by driving these scrap dealers and the Awam traders here, Awam spare parts dealers here, then they will get their clear view into the shop and maybe just in front of their shop. But in the streets, we are not going to allow it again. That's why this massive decongestion and cleanup is coming on. We'll leave some of our task force members to be checking the road so that they will not come back.
So they'll be stationed here for how long, or it will be for as long as possible?
Yeah, as long as possible, like we did at Beyema. Then when we finished with the scrap dealers over there, 2-3 days, they started coming back. Though they didn't erect anything there, they started coming back. And in fact, we had to send our task force there, and up to today, they are not there. You see, so we have to, sacrifice to find something to cater for the guys to be here up to the people will get to know that really we are serious. That time they said, oh, no, this one we are serious. This time round we are serious because it's bringing a lot of issues that is above the government cry.
But as it stands now, the new location that you mentioned that you intend to relocate them, it's not ready, and so those you are taking off the streets, where are they supposed to go to?
Well, those we are taking off the streets, we've talked to the executives. You see, they can manage in front of, behind the gutters. We just want the road to be free. Oh, if you had come here yesterday also, you will see where we are.
Actually seen the place. They are always on the road, even virtually in the middle of the road.
So we are just directing them to manage and go behind the gutters, so that by the time we finish with Afienya or Dowena there, they will all get a bigger place to go there. It will not be easy, but at least we must try for them to see that we for once we are really serious. You see, yeah.
And you are not worried about the possible political implications. We listen to the people. They say that, look, they don't want to move from this place.
Oh, yeah, that's what that one. You get it. But when the political head they get to know that you are doing a good job, people will go and talk or report. They will say because the regional minister is the political head in the region, and he is leading this in conjunction with the assembly, myself, and the executive. So there's no cause for alarm.
I mean, finally, those two locations you mentioned, Dowenya, Fienya, are they not too far away from town? That is the argument that some people have made. They want to get spare parts, they want to just come to Abosokai.
Yeah, you see, as we are now, somebody will come from Ada. I want a particular spare part. He said it's in Abosokai. They come and buy. You see, it will not be easy. That's why we said we are going to do it gradually. And the purpose of that area, in Accra, Central Accra like this, you will never get a spacious place now. You will never get a spacious place. But those areas, you have a vast lands, government lands and all that. We arrange with Lands Commission and all that, and you will get it for them. You go to other countries, you have a spare parts village and all that. So it will not be easy for them, but the shop owners that they buy from to sell, the Tema Port is nearer to Afienya than here. You get my point. So I think gradually they will get used to.
Thank you very much, madam. And so you heard Mariama Mui, she's MC for Ablekuma Central, explaining the exercise that is taking place here. And so you can see the military vehicle that is coming towards us. The soldiers are here to provide protection to ensure that the exercise goes on. And so it's an exercise in two phases. The first is that they are cleaning the place, and you heard they link it to the June 3 flood and fire disaster. Then the second aspect of it is the fact that there is a decongestion exercise. On a normal day, when you come over to this particular road, there's a road here at Abosokai, and the road is often busy. You have a lot of spare parts dealers on this particular stretch, but today they are all not present because the place has been cleared to enable the decongestion takes place. And so first the cleaning, and secondly is the fact that they are going to ensure that people should not remain on this particular road. And so he says they can sell before the gutter but not after the gutter. Let's interact a bit with some of those who are in Bache Frozen. We are Jumawa. They are also no who is saying.
Oh, didn't if you know, me might be if you know, buy the Benny say, which dispose of your my dear Gooey. Some government the tax be too so. Oh, now what Benum be what time no the company come here near Moscow and Casai, but I'm going who have been. You say, your Benum Biano or Tama or the Cocojiska. And to my 2 years, my team found 20 and to me the Cocojiska. If I told one city, how can I 20 pesos? And remember, if you know who Ghana hand can have him.
But if you know, so you say, any some about a coin in Namoton because on a normal day, no bar, Mugu coin munia, and then I say, I'm a more coin so, and my Munjina coin and Tom Yamanoa.
And moment then, Kaya, because Anna coin choku. And almost or more how more cast, some paco baby. There's a customer about your pack, I will not but try the no cop. I read the Oma more cast or more yes sort of woman no cabin see her. 10 behind a hundred choku. Until the man had a choku free. Stock when it's now done cast, it will go with the banner. I don't know money in Avalisa.
Thank you very much. So you heard him there first. He makes the points about the fact that he thinks more could be done to ensure that the area is clean. Then he also talks about, I asked him about what is actually taking place with regards to the decongestion where they are not supposed to be on the road. And he says that, well, he agrees with it because it blocks the road and it makes movement very difficult here. Let's move a bit further. There are some more people that we can interact with here about the situation and what they make of what is happening here. And so if you can interact with some of them here and ask them what they make of what is happening here. Boss morning, let's say.
Good morning.
And in terms of the matches here, Mamumba, Aquine Munton, Yamano, what was saying?
No question, say, Yempenifuni, I was so kind, so no. Almost say, Bidu Macquanum Metone, but I need to do no I back when money, boys be a share power coin, no so Macquanum. But I got an HDM, if say Carboni be any home. Almost one come, no one walk when we can't have a packing. Made a margin in Camino Ede, can the boys and Tias, you know. Omun fidi ekwan ankasem no mon kɔ gata na echi ene de enkaye na mum ba sugar kra me wo ye bola no ho no se me bisa mpanifo no se nti bola na boso me bia na watwe bia ye beyi ana se ye beja na sa de di kan ba kon de tosu mi no nhihye ye ben na wo ho se mi ndidi mi am gina he me ye adwuma aboso kan me didi no pie wota na me ja to wahu no meja ato ye mpanifo hu say na ye be gatam ndi ya fa soldiers police abebu ha say omo medi enso say de be ya ye betimi amo ye ho ne yi gata no na de na omo nya hyehyɛ bi nto say ne police nam ha soldier nam ye das bi so wa odi das bi no wo be yi ato fam bi ya na ya kyew me fi say no momu ebe boa sene say ye nto ye niemu na business na nye slow sa amre nko bi aton ade be ko 1 billion. But because of say ye into market na is slow obi anton ade obi aso gina ho ni nyina na emma market ne nko enti say me ni ba na obaje tax na pa me nya bi me de matua na ne my dodge tax eniam na da kwan pepa me fi say me de kama adwena nka be boa pa enti say mpanifo ni tie ya na wan mpani na so tie say soldiers betime adie so na police betime adie so ne yi gatamu a na gata na nka san ye de das me asisi wo das me na nka san de so ya twere ho ye onkola bi ho omoto scribe camera fix ho nti onipa no ba na so ba na obetu ade no kwa na camera pick no na si edifo aye ko makotiri ne omo man mu no omo so follow up na omo hu say no ade okoton wo agboboroshi okoton no ha na yakochi nipa no mahu na ma bibia na mra ye pepepe endi se ye che obi agboboroshi no wa fa sa ade wi ne ye bon ka abia mfa na say 1000 Ghana next time me ankasa meka kire me nuase wo kwa e beje 1000 Ghana wo nkofa ma ha e no de otoy no so yaje no 2000 next time obefa na o for that be besi ho because camera re fese ne de media ma adwun de ye be ne nne aye ni kina aye moguo ye be ye akwa aba na da chen wasa ba interview ni aka the same thing akire mo ndi mesere mo da mo so bebre so.
Okay, thank you very much. And so first he made a point that he agrees with the decongestion exercise relative to the road that they are moving them from and not allowing the spare parts dealers to sell along the road. So you can move away from the road and sell beside the road. But he has some reservations about the cleanup exercise itself, in that he says once they are done cleaning and taking the refuse from the gutter, the refuse tends to remain by the street. And he's also raising issues about what happens beyond today. Once they are done with this particular exercise, what happens next? Because he says the military have come, so people are complying, people are assisting with everything that is taking place. But what happens next, which it will be sustainable to ensure that the place remains clean, is of major concern to them. And that is how come we are. I'll interview another person here. Boss, morning.
Good morning.
I hope you are doing well.
Fine, I'm doing very well.
What do you make of the exercise that is ongoing currently? We understand it's in two phases. First is the cleanup, and the second is they are trying to ensure decongestion, ensuring that you don't come onto the road to sell.
You know, every society where there's no discipline, we live like animals. Because when you go to the animals' kingdom, there's order over there. Now, coming to the exercise we have been doing each and every month or 3 months' time, when you live in a community, as a human being, there's a saying, say, cleanliness is next to godliness. So we have to clean our environment quarterly or monthly. That's why you see us doing this.
But the other issue is twofold. One, you're not supposed to be selling on the road. They said there will be a task force here to ensure that you don't do that. And secondly, they intend to relocate the traders here to a different location because this place is congested.
You know, it is a laudable idea because I have been staying in South Africa for a while before I came back. Concerned about street trading, Central Joburg, you find it over there. When you go to Captain Park, you find it over there. Lumpepe, it's over there. Nespret is over there. But let's take this place for instance. If the decongestion should be made, first we have to think of the people who are here. They are living with their family. Now, when you sack him from the place he's selling, what will be his end? He'll get into stealing and robbery. In South Africa, when you go there, like the stores have been stretched over there, they'll give about 5 meters from the shop. They will erect this type of cross barrier. Do you see this net over here? They will use it, mount it over there, and they divide it into people. So people will be hanging their goods over there and sitting behind it. And if that application can be applied over there, it will help us of the decongestion. People are working on the roadside. Now, before you move a person from the roadside, where are you going to put the person? It's a question.
So they are taking them to either Afienya or Dowenya. Those are the two locations they are considering.
The Akwai side is a laudable idea. We have to settle at a place. Before I came here, I overheard that SCC was allocated to Aboso Kan people, but investigation I made let me know that that place was given to Kokompe people, that Millennium City. So if our leaders today are fighting for us to have a place which we can be compounded together, it's a laudable idea and it's welcome.
Thank you very much. I have another gentleman here. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
Boko.
Boko, Mini.
Dear cousin, who are you money there? Who say Bibia Dana Quemano?
Oh, I did that. A Newton. You are about 1 month, Crasay. The BA. But I did about a month for green say. I soldier for now 1 Yet to be a my process for bar. Idea, let me the beer. Now, near me, when say, me was said and saying, get a current regional minister or the soldier for the police for any other security service, a cleaning all the guitar crack. Until Ababosoka, Memma, be a proud. What I say? Until we hear such a for Abba private Abasoka, Memma Gua. And some one of my chairs, no Macassi Emperor, yeah, and the beer, and say no answer.
Nafe de to simi enu de say be yi mu afia say na ye say mamonton ade so e wo kwan nim no because emre bia atwema ko me fa say na kwan mu say no onya kwan kran emfa.
And that's Joseph Akablay live from Abosewokan here in Accra. Emphasis on Accra because there are plenty of Abosewokans in the rest of the country. So we had reports of military presence at Abosewokan, which was clashing with earlier conversations about a relocation exercise. But Joseph Akablay has been on the ground. MC clarifies it's actually a decongestion exercise to coincide with the 6th anniversary of the June 3 fire disaster. It was rain and fire. So that's the exercise that's going on. But sellers are also sharing their thoughts in terms of the sustainability of this operation. After all, not too long ago, we heard about a similar one in the central business districts of Accra. And in less than 2 weeks, people were back where they were relocated. So that conversation is still very much relevant. I mean, just wrapping up, what do you make of what is happening?
Well, I don't even know what to say because
I thought you're an optimist.
Oh yes.
Or you're giving up?
No, I'm not. I'm not giving up. We need to do a lot as Ghanaians. It's all about leadership and the will to enforce the law. Make sure that, whatever we do is not selective. Political influence. People, using their political connections to overturn or to do things, which doesn't help the society. The politicization of various associations. Politicians get involved. I mean, if you go to Abosewokan now, I remember run up to the elections, leadership of, association. I mean, doing. I mean, things that they are supposed to. They are not supposed to.
Now, who caused some?
Oh, no, what I'm saying is that, I mean, the people cause some.
Is it the people or is it the politicians?
You see, who is the politician, my sister? Who is the politician? You see, sometimes when I go to church and I say, the politician, I say, look, last week I was in church, I told them, look, if you go to a marketplace and 9 people are fighting, right? Or 10, people are quarreling or something. 9 of them went to church the previous day. The previous Sunday. It is the same people you find in the churches who are the politicians. You understand? So if we point, we are pointing fingers as if the politician is coming from somewhere from Jupiter. It's the same people, the same family, the same people around us. You understand? So if there's anything wrong, let's blame ourselves.
Well,
you understand? And because we have elected leadership, they are blamable. Because they wield all the powers, to enforce, to make sure that we do the right thing. You understand? Like the soldiers, at the border right now, somebody give an order for them to go to the place. That's leadership. Whether it is right or wrong, it's a leadership decision.
Oh, but it's a clean-up exercise.
Certainly, but you know, if we have to bring in soldiers before we clean our environment, then we are in trouble. As I said, let's go back to our roots. In those days, in the yesteryears, when the Korle Lagoon was clean, what did we do that we are not doing now? What are some of the beliefs? You understand? I was talking about the fact that growing up until age 14, 15, I was told that if you go out and defecate, and unfortunately even bushfire, or somebody sets fire into the feces, you will die. So you will not attempt to do it. You understand? You will not attempt to do it. When you go to the bathroom, they say you don't talk, you don't whistle, you don't whatever. Because the detergent will enter. They say we don't wash in streams with soap. You can go and bath, but then you don't take soap, you don't take any foreign substance. Contamination. You understand?
Internet came along, so
yes, but
say something to your child, they'll just go on Google and say, Daddy, yes, but that's not what Google says.
Yes, you see, but the point is that, unfortunately, I have to say this, you know, anytime, you know, we lack understanding, when we cannot explain the situation, we ascribe it to some spiritual something somewhere. And that is the problem. Because the issue about you not whistling, you not defecating outside, you not using bath, you know, soap in the streams and whatever, can be explained. Can be explained with science. Now that we have advance in science, we can explain that the detergent will kill the fauna and flora in the river body. When you defecate outside, it rains, it will wash it into, and to cause cholera.
Yeah.
I mean, these are things that we can. So we need to marry our traditional systems, and you know, it's also going to enhance or help.
Right. That's a good point.
Kind of environment.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
We have to wrap up. Just on a lighter note, you are a Church of Pentecost member.
Yes.
Because of all the works that the church has been doing
Very
recently.
well.
Some people have said, oh, just give the country to the Church of Pentecost. They will manage it. No comments. My guest, Ebenezer Oklite Telabi, is Member of Parliament for Lower Manya Krobo. He's ranking member on the Environment, Science and Technology
and Innovation.
Innovation.
Yes.
You've innovated.
Science, technology, and innovation.
So we will be holding you. We want to see what you're innovating on that committee.
We oversight policies and programs. You know, that leads to innovation. We oversight.
Okay. But so you don't come up with innovations?
No.
Okay. So are you doing your work the same old way, or you have innovative ways of doing it?
We have innovative ways of doing it.
We will be testing that. Thank you, sir. Well, in the spirit of the 6th anniversary, and we don't say anniversary because we're celebrating something, it's actually a reminder of a very sad situation where we lost hundreds of persons. This is the 6th anniversary. Exactly.
I remember, you know, exactly the day I was in your studio.
On Adom FM?
I think Adom.
Okay.
And I think I was here.
Okay. It's been 6 years.
Yes. I think after the program, I was on my way. Right. Normally from here, I go through Asylum Down.
Okay.
But I don't know. By instinct, I just decided to go through Nima. When I got to Nima roundabout, I heard a noise. Boom.
Oh wow. So this was the night?
Yeah, it was the night, yes. I remember exactly what happened that day. When I heard the noise, I didn't know that was what was happening at Sekodo. But it was when I got home that we started getting snipers of people, dying. People have got, some of the people have gotten, a lot. Yeah.
Well, what we continue to tell, and as we roll the pictures, the visuals, this was 6 years ago, still looking very fresh. Have we truly learned the lessons of
I was still
3.
dumping. I was still dumping, you know, refuse.
That's an easy answer to that. We are. This is, somebody will see these and not even think that this was June 3, 6 years ago. They would think it is today because pictures haven't changed.
But you see, it is not only in Accra. Some of these things are washed far and near.
And it ends here.
It enters.
Yeah.
So it must.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be Accra.
Absolutely. As we hold people in authority and in power accountable, we'll be holding our legislators also accountable. So let's join Benjamin Akapo. He visited the area to find out how residents and market women are coping ahead of the rains.
Thank you for joining the conversation.
Thank you too.
You've been resident in this community, at least you've worked here for over 30 years.
Yeah.
What are the woes you face every year?
Every year it's all about flood. Every year flood. Every year flood. Every year flood.
For the over 30 years you've been here?
Yeah, during Rawlings' regime, the flood came only 95, and that's it. Until recently, they've done a shoddy job here, which has cost us a lot. Every time when
what is that shoddy job? Let's talk about it.
So there's a gutter that they've constructed, which the olden days they've done it open big. Now they've closed it. They make it narrow and then cover the top. So when it rains, even the whole place gets.
Wait, you're telling me all these cars we are seeing here, you have to move them out of this yard?
I move them out.
Why?
Because of the flood. I have to move them out. Otherwise, I may lose a lot of customers and money.
So basically, rainwater enters this place and it could take away the cars?
It covers the cars. Every car that here, when it rains, all is covered. All is covered. The last rain, it was around my waist. Yeah, so I have to quickly move all the cars. The last car that I moved out was a 4x4 car. So that one, I managed to drive it out of the yard.
Around when was this? How many years ago?
Oh, it's not about a year, last year. Just last year. Every year when it rains, here get flooded.
So you have a member of parliament, of course, Dr. Zaneto Rawlings, and I'm sure over the years you've been complaining about the situation. What has been the outcome?
Oh, the last time that we questioned her about the construction of the gutter, she told us that what they were doing there, you understand me? And then as for her, she doesn't know anything about, I don't know whether she knows something about that, but she's a doctor. If it to be something like medicine or something, she can tell us more. But as the contractor told her that they know what they are doing, then he has to, yes. Moreover, they are not in power, so I don't know whether he can push more or not.
So finally, as a member of this community, what do you see that ought to be done? You've already spoken about that gutter and everything. Reach out to the leadership of this country. What do you think ought to be done for the members of a community to avoid more flooding, more loss of property, and maybe even loss of life in future? Because the rains are already here.
The Odo River, being measured even 3 feet of it. No, 21 feet. Now it's left with only, is it 4 feet or 5 feet? So at least they should come and clear it for us. This guy, what's the name? Aliu Mahama. I say Aliu Mahama.
You mean Ibrahim Mahama?
Ibrahim Mahama was doing it for free. Is it last 2 years or so? They said, oh, he has given it to, the brother has given it to him as a contract and all that. He was doing it for free. And it's okay, fine. If people said they've given it for contract, then I'm taking my machines.
Who are saying that?
A lot of people are saying it's on radio and all that they've given it to him for contract. And then he stopped. When he stops, nobody is doing anything again. But I learned some people are they are starting from what's the name? The onion market. They've started from there and they are coming. But I don't know whether it is true or not. So we are just praying that they will come and clear it so that the water can get free flow so that to not flood the area again for us.
Hope. Let's keep hope alive. And thank you for interacting with us.
Thank you too.
Korle Klottey constituency. And we've already entered the period when the rains start. Very soon, from the month of June, the rains are going to be hitting hard. That is one of the major issues here. And we're going to be engaging shortly some of the market people to find out what their thoughts are about that situation and what other things bother them right here in this market. Come along with me. Frimpong, what do you sell in this market?
Actually, this market generation from Novotel. But I'm the founder of Novotel Market. Transfer us, NDC time, you came here, this Odona. So I'm part of the market and at the same time, I'm the secretary of the market.
How long have you been here?
Almost 30 to 20 years now. Here we are here. We came here almost 10 years, 11 years with that. 10 to 11 years with that.
Okay. And in this period that you've been here, what has been the major problem of this community, or what are some of the major problems you've been facing here?
We have 3 major problems we are facing here. First is by the water here. If rainfall, this June, July, we are in headache. We are in big headache. But so far as we are always accepting those kind of pressure and those kind of the problem we are in here. We always face it because it has been addressed that we well every year. We don't worry about that. But actually, we have been complaining several times. All stations in Ghana have been here complaining up to now. You see, the whole Korle Klottey, this is the largest market of Korle Klottey. If you walk through the Korle Klottey, from this down straight to Osu down, this is the largest market. And I have always been saying that this place is a land of not even self. Because here is far non far. You see, every place there is a, even when they sell a land for you to build a room for a house, if you have to ask what about particular land. Government brought it here, but as we came here, nothing better has been gone. People, money has been, they have not been benefiting nothing from here. I brought almost 2,003 women, men 700. But today, all the women from the junction to the down there, you will not even get up to 800 or 700, which a lot of people go back to Abaye.
Why?
The reason is, if you are business or you are making business without benefiting, what do? You have to stop. Is that not it? Yeah. So that is why they're praying. The most of the women who came here to sell and who came here to make business, they are not benefiting. They are always going down because the things are not being sold as they want it. Because you go buy the thing 20 Ghana and you can't sell it today. They sell 5 CD. You sold 5 CD today. Tomorrow you sold 5 CD. The next day to 5 CD. And you the same 5 CD you are spending inside that 5 CD. What are you going to get? So at the end of the day, you always lose.
So in other words, you're saying business is bad?
Business is totally bad, and it's very, very, very bad.
Is it maybe because of COVID-19?
When the 19, the government is not in safe, we are facing problem. We are begging the Korle Klottey, and I say that the government to come to our aid to help us in this June, July. The problem we are about to face, they should come to help us. So
let's talk about flooding. Yes, the land and all of what you've mentioned, very relevant. But in terms of the flooding situation, how bad is it when it rains here? How bad is it? Describe it for us.
You see, if it's tummy, because the gutter inside there, if you full up, all the petty gutters around can never enter. It returns back. That causes a flood. So if they can do something at the big gutter, whether they can raise it so that the flooding will come down, we will not have problem at Odona. Actually, that is what we have been facing.
Yes, but when the rains hit, how does this place, we went somewhere in Odona and they were talking about the fact that when it rains, even it covers cars and all of that. How high does it rise, and does it mean on such days you can't even come to market?
It's true. And it's true to extent that the last day the rain fall and it full up is above this wall. People climb the wall.
Above this wall?
Yeah, people climb the wall. Even the water is still on their leg, part of their leg, you see. So it means the water go to the level that is too high. If you fall inside, that's the day the people die a lot. And fire got there at the petrol station there. Yeah. So yeah, the main problem is, If the main gutter get full, we will get problem here.
Yo, na Christiana, edwemu ha wo no, den na ye hamo pa wo ha.
Me pa wo cho sensio ni tona anu ye dia. Ha ye pa e de ka kese be da ye so na ye gi ye ho a enye yie kra.
Inti chese nsuo no hamo pa chese afibia no nsuo to a.
Afibia nsuo ni to a ha ye se ye niama e de ka kese be to ye so ye gi lon kra ye ntu ewie na asa de ka foforo asa be to ye so.
Inti chese last time I nsuo to ya ha mo say no better time be last year.
Oh, me pa chao. Last year, June 6, me fifia ba na hanya ema.
Nsia ye hani na.
Oh, anyway, been what to never any so ni Ghana there. Been to ball gumni ade na nsu nsu to awon. Got an say any assassin level. Usually let na appear gum. Nti wo me tutu kra essence community e bia to say min doing service charge whatever. I said they got an clear. So soon to fa dust in community. Yeah, any problem. Nti why I want check those people. It's why ko for no aduan wa no want check wo na po hwehwe sa ne mani ne yeah.
Enti no say no I say ya tekra say ebinom eyire afa ebinom da afa nipa da then na wo hwa ye betumi aye afa ho na che say June ne ewrem no ensu tobre ne ewrem no che say enche bia na ensu beto ye be ne den
oh and say ya gota me say gota ne mu asi aya time by time won be you gota be say ya no mitum say do tena san akombi me mu asi nje we say by now no we say what start yi answer ensu no start ato and sanka government badan ko to be clear muti sana de bia we na ke better yeah c'est very soon ensu no baka ensu no best taba yeah it's simple ba ko no
yeah that's so ordinary action ko pajo e for saying
e Peter Ampof
na we ejuma wa hanfi an
in France be 25 years
25 years how we ejuma fi say ya ensu tobre no e ba no yene omo ye djuma wa ha ne yene omo pi akasa na che se ensu asem no eto a senete
it me bufa ha obra e wo so dwane ja wo ka kura ho ntisa
hey mutumi dwane ja mo ka
e ho fis ntisa be fa wo ne wo ka ni nyina nti enne o ha wa ye wo mu wa ha
nti che se June e ba say no ayem hihye nko
Who sends you muna? Never saw pebble pop be possible, baby. Ejina.
And say in no top cope to Shamuso ha, not say na moye.
That is, I was so Granny Jauka. When you're near Yauka, be found in Oka Nina. It's a macran. At to me being print. Iganiko Jina PNT. Boponeso, as Raminia Memua Fed.
Community by community, constituency by constituency, we're highlighting the problems of ordinary Ghanaians hanging out around the Odo River Gutter. I call it a river gutter because there was a point where this was clear enough and there was even fish in here. Today, it's more of a gutter and filled with a lot of filth. We've engaged a lot of those who sell at the market and a lot of those right here who ply their trade at the bus station, the bus terminal. It is not a pleasant story. They are dreading the month of June because when it comes with the rains. And when the rains come, it can only mean one thing: flooding and disaster. Some of the very people we've interacted with will have to flee. And they're calling on government to come to their aid. From right here in the Odo.
Poured ahead of the rains as we mark the 6th anniversary of the June 3 fire flood disaster here in our country. Still ahead though, we'll give you an update on the National Science and Maths Quiz, the Eastern Region competition. Look ahead to the championship in the Eastern Region as well. Maxwell Agbagba will be live from the Nat Hall in Koforidia. And then we will talk about Kwadwo Owusu every year. One-time General Secretary of the NPP. He was serving as the CEO of the Forestry Commission back last year when he died in July. He will be laid to rest today in the Ashanti region. We will touch base with our correspondent there. Stay with us. easy lies the head that wears a crown. That was exactly how Letitia Ewo felt on stage when she led her school, Nifa Senior High School, to qualify for the main National Science and Maths quiz scheduled for October. She could not hold back her tears as her school joined Okwapiman and BM Zion Senior High School to qualify on day 3 of the Eastern Regional Qualifiers. Here's Maxwell's report.
And do the will of God away. Integrity, excellence, Agogo, raise the set.
The First Secondary School has qualified for the National Championship, which will be happening in October. They've also qualified for the Eastern Region ABSA Championship, which will be happening here on Friday and Saturday. Congratulations.
I'm so happy. I feel very happy.
Okay.
I was scared of losing, but then by the grace of God, we won, and I'm so happy, and that's why I'm crying.
Why were you scared of losing?
See, the struggles that we have in school, if you don't win, like people will insult you, will tease you, they'll hurt you psychologically, emotionally, and everything. That is what comes after you don't win. But then since we have won, I'm very happy.
What should we expect at the national level?
Yes, we are going to do best. We are going to do great, and then we are going to win. We do best.
How many months do you have to prepare for this? How many years?
We have 4 months.
4 months. Trying to prepare for this for 4 months. Okay. Let me find out from some of your students. Who wants to talk? Okay, tell me, how excited are you?
For how happy I am, I cannot tell it by words. But one thing that we all know, that we depend on God for it. And then the things that other society and what people are thinking that NIFA cannot do, we have done it. And we want to tell the society that this won't be our first time, but next year we go come, another year we go come, the next year we go come, and we go. And in fact, this year's cup, it must go to NIFA!
I am Alexander Aduafere. Alfazo for short. Alfazo is a combination of the letters in my name. So when you mention Alfazo, you have mentioned Alexander Aduafere.
Okay, you're assistant administrator in charge of academics?
Yes, I'm in charge of academics.
How excited are you, and how did the old students actually contribute to this?
Very, very excited. And as I indicated in the morning, we really train for this contest. Like I said, over the last few years, we've not been able to come up as expected. So this year we started our preparation pretty early. We put the students together, and then the old students came in handy. Management and everybody, all the staff were behind. The science department, we charged them because Okwama is a science school, and so we cannot be there without getting to the national stage. So it's all about preparation and the support from management, and then the old students and everybody who is a stakeholder in the school.
Maxwell Agbagba joins me live now. Maxwell, it's good to see when people come in with vim, and in the end, they get to celebrate. That's the whole idea. I know that people also cried, but what should we look up? What are we looking forward to today?
Okay, yes, Mamavi. So today is the last day for the regional qualifiers. On Friday, that is tomorrow, and then Saturday, we're going to have the ABSA Eastern Regional Science and Maths Quiz Championship. And on Friday and then Saturday, we will crown the best school in science and maths here in the Eastern region. So we are gearing up, for that. But 5 girls' schools, I should say, were part of the regional qualifiers. The last girls' school will be competing today. So far, only 1 girls' school has qualified from the Eastern region. And today, we're going to see Ebri girls contesting. They'll be taking part in the last contest for the day. many who want to see a girls' school win the National Science and Maths Trophy for the first time in 28 years want to see them at the Nationals. And we're just waiting to see how it pan out here, whether Ebugis will be able to qualify for the national competition. But the first contest, though, will feature Oferipenyin School and then 3 other schools. They are here, that is their bus, and the students are right here with me. Without wasting much time, let me interact with them. Hi guys, how you doing? I can't feel the vim. How you guys doing? Okay. Should we start talking or anthem first? What do you want to do for that?
Anthem first.
Okay, let's do this.
Hail to thee, a great Upasa Amamita. Sons and daughters of Upas, sing your praises loud. Onward, we Upashen, sing aloud your praises. Hail to thee, a great Upasa Amamita. Sing aloud your praises. Hail to thee, a great Upasa Amamita.
Okay, great. A round of applause for yourself. Great, fantastic. Now let me talk to your assistant headmaster.
Coordinator for the science and maths quiz.
Okay, coordinator for the science and maths quiz. Kindly come closer. Yeah. Tell me, how prepared is to pass for today's contest? Do you think you're going to qualify for the national competition in October? Are we going to see?
Yes, as for qualification, I'm very, very sure of it. And we've done a lot. We've gone through so many trials, and my boys are really ready. Last year we were there. Okay. We were at the national, and then we were out the first round, and now the second round. This year we want to qualify and then go beyond what we did last year. So we are really prepared. What we are looking for is the marks that we are going to, or the points that we are going to get. We are looking for 50 and above. That is what we are looking for. Wow. And that is what my boys have told me, that they are going to make it and get beyond 50 points. So that is what we are looking for.
Oh? I like that determination. I interacted with contestants from Imperial Secondary School. Many of the schools I've been interacting with have been telling me about how their old students are supporting, the journey to the National Science and Maths Quiz, the main competition in October. Are you also enjoying any benefits from your old students, any investments made into this thing?
Yeah, we've been enjoying that, but this year they are yet to come the way they came last year and then last 2 years. So from my boys, we want to qualify this one, and then we base on that one to call the old students back again to do more, because this year even is the 60th anniversary for the school.
Okay.
Yes, 60th anniversary, which will come off in November. So we are using this one as the platform to even showcase the school the more.
Okay.
So our prayer is that my boys will work hard today, and then we start the journey from there. And then the old students, I know they've been doing a lot, and I know with our performance, they are going to come in and then put us at that level that we want to.
Okay. Thank you very much. What's the name again?
Maxwell Eshering.
Oh, you are Maxwell. Okay. Thank you for talking to us. Maxwell Eshiedu, it's the coordinator for Oferipenyin Senior High School.
Maxwell Eshering.
Eshrain, yes. Maxwell Eshrain. He's the coordinator for Oferipenyin Senior High School, and they're here today. They're determined to win their contest. Should I hear for 2 students? One student? What should we expect? Wait, are you the school prefect? No. Okay, you look like one. Talk to me. What should we expect in today's contest?
Okay, we are expecting the best from our team, and then our boys, the contestant as well. Because in terms of preparation-wise, I think we have done a lot, as our coordinator said, and therefore even the word of God makes us understand that you have to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. So as far as we are trusting the Lord with everything that we got, we know that God is never going to disgrace us. Okay. So we are expecting the best.
I said school prefect. Are you the SU president? Are you?
I'm part of the chaplaincy board in my school.
Okay, that explains it. Anyway, thanks for talking to us. All the best, guys. Now let's move to St. Stephen's. They would also be taking part in the first contest for today. Let's find out from them how prepared they are. St. Stephen's, right? Are you prepared for today's contest?
Yes, sir.
Let's feel you guys.
You, St. Stephen's, the star of hope, arise. You, St. Stephen's, our mother of great talent. Let your light so shine before men, and the tree that bears golden fruit. Step by step, we improve. Esiakwa Senior Secondary School. Give us the best countless fruits in you. Steps arise and shine. Purposeful alma mater.
Okay. Arise and shine, St. Stephen's.
Yes.
Is this your first time at the regional competition?
No.
Ever been to the national competition? No. Okay, but you want to get there for the first time?
Yes, for the first time.
And this contest means a lot to you, I guess.
Yes, it does.
How prepared are you for this?
We've been preparing for about 6 weeks now. Okay. And from all the questions we've been able to answer and from the tryouts that we've had in our school, we are sure we'll beat any school that comes close to us. Yes.
What would getting on the national stage mean to you guys?
It would mean a whole lot. I mean, because it's going to be the first time. And for us, a school who is not offering general science as a program, to be able to get there, that would mean a lot.
Oh, but you were not... I mean, there was no general science in the school then?
No, we are just...
That's an incredible story right there. I'm rooting for the underdogs. Maxwell Agbagba reporting from the Nat Hall in Koforidia in the Eastern region, bringing us updates on the Eastern region qualifiers. Later today, there will be some more updates. But let's take you to Kumasi, and as I said a bit earlier, today is the day that we're laying to rest a former General Secretary of the NPP, a man who was, until his death, the CEO of the Forestry Commission, Kwadwo Owusu-Afriyie, but he's popularly called Sir John. Here's Nanaya Aljime's package.
We are here at Sakraono, where the final rites for the former CEO of the Forestry Commission and former General Secretary of the NPP is taking place. And the information we have is that there are a number of dignitaries coming from Accra to Sakraono to pay their final respect to the NPP stalwart, including the President of the Republic, Nana Akufo-Addo.
I'm the head of protocol at the Vice President's office. We put in place the security and the protocol arrangements here. Very soon, next few minutes, the Vice President and his entourage will arrive to prepare the grounds for the arrival of His Excellency the President. When you get to the grounds here, we have sanitizers and a nose mask here. The security will ensure and enforce to make sure each and everyone has worried. Now from here, when you arrive, you go straight to the left-hand side here, where we have a dome. The body is there. You go and far pass and show your final respect. Then you come and take your seat. Then after that, the church service, the pastors take over the church service. Then right after the church service, the body will be sent to the cemetery for burial. Then after that, we come back here for the final funeral rites. Then we'll bless the whole thing.
Is the President coming to town to also pay his final respect?
Of course, His Excellency the President will arrive. But the Vice President and his entourage come ahead of him to prepare the ground to where his arrival.
So finally, we've seen a lot of military security personnel here. What will be their main job at the ground?
Their main job is to provide security, to make sure each and everyone here is safe.
So this was yesterday. Today is day 2 as he's laid in state, but later he will be buried as well. More updates in the course of our programming as Sir John, as he was popularly known, will be finally laid to rest today. Well, that's it for our show, the AM show today, Thursday, June 3. Before we wrap up though, I want to say a very good morning to Nenya Dako Ampim.